Hi everybody, it's Colin here from Woodthorpe International. I hope you're all well. I've got a I've a new interesting train for you to look at. Again, it's not as old, but it's nice, something different. And I've got some new coaches and a train to show you for the American layout. So on with the video. Some other coaches I've got are these double deck ones, Trinity Railway Express, and they're very heavy, and the detail on them are absolutely superb, and the numbers and all the different other informations, on the actual side of the coaches. And they make a very nice small rake of 6. Never seen these before. I've seen the style of coach in America, but I haven't seen this livery, so I had to have it because it's so different. And this back one has chevrons on for warning other trains, and they all have different numbers on the roof as well as on the side. So I'm very pleased. I got 3 and then I found the train, and then I saw another 3, and I just had to have them. And I didn't realise at the time, because unfortunately the picture just showed sort of like that, and in the box didn't see that they had running numbers on. So when I bought another set, I was very lucky that there were different numbers. So I'll show you it running round with these 2 on, and then I'll show you the train, what came with it. So I'll just set it off. So I've had to borrow these 2 trains, take them for a run out. These will pull them at a nice slow speed, not that it has to be that slow. But they're nice and bright. I had to sort the back to backs out. They were a bit too narrow. They weren't going over the points very well at all. But I did get that sorted. So I'll just pull it into here. And I'll show you the actual train pulling the last 3 coaches. So this is the loco, what goes with it. I did find out that a drop-in decoder would go in, and when I opened it up, that drop-in decoder didn't have a prayer of going in. So I don't know if this is an older model or what. I haven't been able to find out any information on it, but I hardwired it, and it works. And when you see it as a complete set, it looks really nice. Good size for this layout. It pulls these very well. It'll pull the 6 on the flat, but taking them up the slope, it's just too much. Now, the American layout in the future won't have any slopes on, except for the helixes and that. Now, I may not run it round the world as it's going to be when we're having 4 different countries, it may just run in the American side of it, but otherwise this runs great. And it does pull up here okay, so at the end of the day it can run like this. So I'm very pleased. Nice and bright, different. As I've said, I've seen these type of coaches before, the double deckers with the sloping ends, but I haven't seen this livery at all, even on film. So I'm very pleased with that. Something else I've acquired, I seem to be at the moment, if I can find anything different and a bit old, I seem to be being lucky to find them, and I found something really different. That's not very old. It was done in 1954, but the idea was to use old Greyhound buses and put them on rails. And to be quite honest, I don't think it was very successful. And to be quite honest, it doesn't run round Gemma's layout. It doesn't run round Stony Hall at all. In the past, I was once told never have curve points, and I had on my previous layout. I would thought Gemma's got I mean, it works on hers because of the space. And in all fairness, I've never had any problems at all. But this train, boy, does it have problems. It doesn't like it at all. So, unfortunately, we can't get it to go past certain curve points. Now, again, the future layout, there isn't anywhere in the world layout, there is no curve points at all. There's double slips. It'd be interesting to see if it was to go over a double slip, but if I only run it in America, because it is an American train, it shouldn't have any problem because the big curves, the long straight points, so I shouldn't have any bother, but you never know. But it's just nice to have. And if I can just bring it in, it is such a weird looking thing. But the Japanese have a lot of trains now with the cabs on top above the passengers. Now, this is all the engine in this part. But these are the Greyhound coaches, what used to run on the roads, and they've cut the front bit off and put them on rails. And then these coaches have lights in, but that very first one doesn't. But the back, unfortunately, you can see the wires where they've put, the lights in. But this is the back of it. What a weird looking thing it is. It does have the lights at the back. It's got the red light on at the moment. But it goes up and down the slopes okay. I don't think the way it's joined, coupled together helps. It doesn't stop it going round her tight corners. But like I say, it's a bit sensitive to going over the points. And the white lights on at this end like it should be. But you can see the Greyhound buses in it. What they did do, they just made them a bit wider than how they did it, I don't know. But and it's got people in. Now again, I haven't looked for when these were made, but I'll show you the box. But it goes over this point alright, but it doesn't like that point at all. I've been messing about. I did get it to go over at some point, but it was just so different to get. But they're very low. I believe they didn't have a lot of success with it. I think there was only 2 made. Running number 1000 and 1001. What I do like, and I'll show you when I bring it back round, you may have noticed it, but like I say, you just see the coaches. I'll just bring it round to here. And this came DCC, and it does have something else. But one thing I do sort of like, when it changes to red, it comes in from fade up to the full red and the whites go out. in fade. I just think it's quite different. So I'll just move it up the slope. I do believe they had a lot of running problems with it. Hence why I'm having it. But I'm hoping again it will be okay on the new layout, and with it being America, it will be generally quite flat. Now, this one, what doesn't have lights in, there's a reason. The actual motor is in there, but in there they've put the sound chip in, and the actual loco does have little holes in at the bottom for the sound to get out. So whenever this was made, they had thought about getting it in. It doesn't have a lot of sounds. Got to have the American bell. Now, it's got coupling, noise, which that's fair enough. And then we have this noise. We have a Mr. talking. I don't know if it's one of these men in here. They're talking. I don't know if you can see it. Something like that. I don't know if it's him there. And then we have the running noise. The brakes. And then a short horn. And it sounds okay. You know. It runs. It had a lot of problems when I did get it to run round up here eventually, but the back-to-backs on that was terrible. And the other problem it had was the wheels have come out of the socket where the the end of the axles have the sharp pins, and they go into the plastic sides. They were not in. Some weren't turning at all. They were that far down. Now the thing is very low. The actual train itself, the underneath side, that is virtually, level with the rails. So if you had any ballast a little bit up, but like I say, it does run round. It goes round the other way better. It can't go around this top bit this way. It does go that way round there. Brilliant. But it just cannot then get past the points. What it seems to do, just turn the noise off. That's a very interesting way of stopping. But the one thing it has a lot of trouble with is that long gap in there, and as you know, a lot of flanges hit that plastic and ride up anyway and then drop off. They don't hit it, they just lose their way in it. Now it is very low to the ground, but it's very interesting how they're connected together, and I'll try and do this. They have a full magnet on the, well, it's only that little pin, I think. On each one, but they're faced, say, north. That's the wheels there, if I can get it into focus for you. You know, so they're basically taken the wheels of the bus off and put on the carriages on, and they slightly, ever so slightly, if I can just hold it up, they pivot a little bit, but with big fingers you're not going to see it. I don't know if you could just see it move there. Oh dear, it's very hard to show you. I need to get my finger on the end so it doesn't move. But you can just see it moving a little bit. Just a very, it's not much at all. I don't actually know why it bothers, but if you look down, you can just see a pin they pivot on. But they're so close to the floor, it does cause some problems. But they're in these two are in sets of 3. That's a 3 and that's a 3. And if I pull this one apart, excuse the fingers, in fact just hold on. Right, I'm back. I just needed to hold it, you know, put one hand on that bit and one bit on there. But if you try to put that the wrong way around, what happens is it won't connect up, because they're north to north. And you can see that the ends move. Don't know the reason. I think they were just, you know, trying to have that close, very close coupling, because it is. I mean, that one didn't run at all, and it's not that good now. And these 3 wouldn't run, but they're running quite nicely now. They're trying to run. That set, every back-to-back was out, like I say, and some of the wheels, and what was happening, they were rocking. Say, you know, they were doing that, and now they're quite solid. Something else you get with the pack is you get this magazine here, and you can see the Greyhound coach there, and then they took 10 buses and grew it into a train. And there's a bit of history in that one, and also a bit of history in here. One interesting fact they said, per coach, when they divided the weight to each seat, it averaged out at £800 per seat. Never heard them do this before, but this was one of the facts, and that was one of the things what they were wanting, a lighter train, and that's why it's not very high, because of, you know, the speed they thought it might go. Wasn't very, you know, wasn't over 100 miles an hour, but they didn't want it to fall over because of the weight. Where an average train, I'm not saying, or an average coach, should I say, I'm not saying this one in the real world, but the average seat per coach in a modern day, or at the time, was £2,000 of weight. So 800 to 2,000 times the number of seats, it made it a very light train. And because they were made out of aluminium, that's why. But they did have loads of problems. Now the boxes, there's two. And you can tell it's old because the big boxes, and that one's only got 3 cars in, it can take 5. And you can see my back-to-back I was using. But the 3 are only in that bit, and there is room for some more. But, you know, what a waste of space. But the boxes look good. And that one had more. Actually, that one had 4 units in. Well, I hope that was good to see and you enjoyed it, and a bit of information. Look forward to seeing it running on a continuous loop. Another thing it didn't like doing was pushing it backwards up the hill. You know, it was just it's just too light, like the real McCoy. There's no weight in it whatsoever, and how they're connected, there's no give. So anyway, never mind. Can't have everything. So I'll see you in the next video.